What up, world? What up, world? Welcome to another episode of RMT. That's Real Man Talk. It's your boy, Stan Man, coming to you with another great conversation piece on today. And before we get started, I want to thank you for joining me here on RMT. So let's go ahead and get into it. Today, I got a couple of notes right here, and I'm getting into it. So you might hear me flipping a couple of pages. So, what seeds are you sowing? Yes, what seeds are you sowing? Right now, if I pulled up and I showed you different fruit, different vegetables, plants, or even trees, you'll probably be able to identify them by just looking at them. But would you be able to recognize the seed if I showed them to you? If I showed you the different seeds that produce the vegetables, the fruit, the trees, and the flowers, would you be able to recognize them? Some of us will and some of us won't. It's just how life is, you know? And one of the key things we need to learn how to do is how to identify a seed. Yeah, how to identify a seed. Have you ever been given a seed and you didn't know how to plant it, maybe water it, or maybe be able to put it in the right environment in order for it to grow and produce? See, some of us have been given seeds and we just didn't know that it was. And a lot of seeds, I'm gonna just say, I'm gonna go into just like a physical thing, is like a lot of seeds that we've been given, like might have been tax money, might have been an insurance policy, you might have sold your car, you might have sold your house, and you might have a surplus of money or income that came in that was a seed. And at that time, instead of using it as a seed in order to plant it in the right environment so it can grow and produce more, we probably thought it was a harvest. And at a harvest, what you do? You eat. At a feast, what you do? You eat. At a buffet, what you do? You eat. So at that time, we might didn't plant the seed properly. We probably didn't do what we need to do at that time because we didn't recognize that it was a seed. Have I done it? Yes. I think all of us might be guilty at one point in our life of not recognizing the seed that we need to plant in order to be able to reap the harvest from it. Instead, we took that seed and thought of it as a harvest and we ate. so, so if you think about this, I'm going to go also another direction, is that a young man out there, you have to be careful on where you plant your seed, on who you reproduce with, because it can be a costly situation. Also, it can be not only costly financially wise, but spiritually, mentally, it can be weighing on you, because not from my personal experience, but from a lot of guys that I have spoke with, that experience of not being in the household with their children, or having a child with somebody that you didn't really love or you didn't really care about. So you didn't really love or care about this person and you want to raise your child. Now you got a relationship that you have to build off of one night stand, or somebody that you was just having sex with. You didn't really want to reproduce with them, but you like the pleasures that come with it. So now your seed is being raised in an environment that you might not want your seed to be raised in. Now, not only you have that situation to think about how this child will be as they grow up. So you need to be careful about where you lay your seed at. Have to be mindful of the environment. You have to be mindful of the women that you lay with, that you want to reproduce with, because you could possibly reproduce with one that you don't really want to reproduce. You just want to have fun with. So man, just be careful. Some of us have been lucky, and maybe we was somebody that we didn't want to reproduce with, And maybe they had like a miscarriage or something, or they lost a child, or it was complications and different things that it didn't happen. So don't think because it didn't happen, yeah, I slid by on that one. But it could happen again. So be mindful and be careful of that. And let's be honest, guys, we want to lay our seed in the most motherly woman that we could possibly find. The best fit, you know. That's who we want to lay our seed and have children with. But when you young and sometimes your mind is not fully developed, you might look for the woman with the best body. You might look for the woman that everybody said, man, the sex good or the head good, and you looking for that, because you want to experience that too. Or man, she can ride it like this. She can do this. Man, I was hitting it from the back and this, and so all that is going through your mind, and you looking at Instagram at the Instagram models, the video vixen type body, and that's what you want, man. That's what you want. And once you get a chance to be with that type of woman that's mentally in your mind, and you physically get a chance to be with her, you might end up planting a seed with somebody that you really didn't want to plant a seed with. So now that you done planted a seed with that person, now that child is the fruit that's going to develop from it. But now that child might not be put in the right environment in order for them to really grow and blossom the way that they should. That's why I say you should be careful, man. It's not always an instance where it's the best situation that happened. And sometimes, we might have thought, it was like that and it didn't end up like that. We might have thought that this was the good woman or the woman I want to spend the rest of my life with. And things change. We all know that. It happens, man. I'm just saying, just be as careful as you possibly can be within those situations. I am not saying that I was the one that, oh man, I always did this. I always used protection. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying from my mistakes, I hope that you can learn from me. Now, I don't have any children outside of my wife, but I have friends that have other children outside their household, and I heard some of their experiences, some good and some bad. So I just try to keep you from having some of those bad experiences. And then, another seed sometimes that we can fail to identify be something right in our face. It'd be like our job. Sometimes the place that we work at can be one of the biggest seeds to plant in order for us to grow our business, right? We could be putting money into that in order to buy that house that we want to purchase. We could be putting money into that to build our credit, to do some of the things that can produce more fruit down the line. But just being caught up and being young, just my experience, sometimes the fruits of my labor, I ate it. I didn't take those as seeds to be planted in order to grow something bigger. Now, as I got older, I understood that concept, like the 401ks and the put your money in different places where, if you want to buy stock and if you want to buy different things that can grow your money, I understand that. But sometimes investing up front, you have a bigger dividend in the back and more fruit in order to harvest. And sometimes when we looking at our job, it's just to have fun, to enjoy, to take a lot of trips. And I ain't saying nothing wrong with trips, but if you don't have anything put back, why take a trip? Why spend your money constantly on going out to eat, or why spend your money on a car that you can't afford, or things that you can't afford at the time? You can take that seed, which is your job, take that money from there and be able to plant in order to produce something later that'll be more fruitful, that not only you can eat off of, your family can eat off of, your grandkids, your children, your grandkids, your great grandkids produce something like that that'll continue to grow throughout the generations, and it can feed everyone. Now, let me go right here real quick. Okay. So, I'm going to go right here. Matthew 13, 4 and 8. It's Matthew 13, 4 through 8. And it reads, and I'm reading from the New American Standard. Okay. It says, and he sowed some seeds, fell beside the road, and the birds came and ate them up. Others fell on the rocky places where they did not have much soil, and immediately they sprang up because they had no depth of soil. But when the sun had risen, they were scorched, and because they had no root, they withered. Others fell among the thorns, and the thorns came and choked them out. And others fell on good soil and yielded a crop, some 100-fold, some 60, and some 30. Yes, I like that. I like that. And I got just a couple of examples here is that, just starting at verse 4, when it says that he sowed some seeds that fell beside the road, and the birds came and ate it up. Some of your children are going to go out here in the world, and because they're not taught, because they're not trained, because you didn't show them the love, a lot of people, this world is going to eat them alive. A lot of people are going to take advantage of them in certain type of ways because they wasn't shown how to operate in certain situation. They weren't shown how to look out for manipulation. They weren't shown love, so somebody can trick them like they love them and they really don't care about them. They can be tricked out of their finances because they weren't taught the importance of money and how they should save and the proper thing to do with it, right? And so a lot of them get ate alive out there in the world, and they'll lose what they have because it's gonna fall by the wayside. They gonna and it's gonna be tough for them out there. Verse 5, it says, others fell on rocky places where they did not have much soil, and immediately they sprang up because they had no depth of soil. And this is 5 and 6 together. But when the sun had risen, they were scorched because they had no root. They withered. It's just like going out here, the drug dealers. Let's think about this. People that sell drugs are looking for a quick buck. They come up fast, right? They get the cars, they get the money, they get the nice house, they get the jewelry, clothes. They have those things. They get it quick. But the thing about it, all of them have a quick run, and when that run is over, it's over quick. What happens? The feds or whoever come in and they confiscate all that. The house, the cars, the money, the jewelry, the clothes, and it's gone. Even though they got it quick, it's gone, right? So let's move on. 7. Others fell among the thorns, and the thorns came and choked them out. And that's the one some of us have been taught the right thing. Some of us have been raised a certain way, but we get around other people and they smother us and choke that out of us. Oh, that ain't the way. Oh, the word is this. Oh, God is that. Oh, man, you should do this with your money. You can do this. You can do that. We get away from what our roots is, right? They kind of choke us out of our own beliefs. You know how people just come and just, that's why you have to be deep rooted in what you believe in and who you are as a person. Yeah, that's what you got to do. And let's get on. Number 8, it says, and others fell on good soil and yielded a crop, some 100-fold, some 60, and some 30. That's the ones that go out here and do what you need to do. Not that you don't make mistakes, don't get me wrong, but once you go out here and do what you need to do, it's going to produce the way that you want it to produce. A lot of people be like, well, nah, I can do this, I can do that. Okay, you can. And you might get results for a little bit, but to produce later and be able to produce where it help out from generation to generation or if you be able to help out multiple people because you did the right thing in your life. Listen, don't let nobody trick you out. Don't let them trick you out your space to make you think that doing the right thing is lame. You rather be lame and do the right thing and you get older and you be able to take care of yourself than out here do what you want to do this and do that. And then once you get older, you won't be able to take care of yourself. It's your choice. It's your choice. It's your choice, right? So, my next point. My next point is like when we plant a seed, we think that the what we have to produce is supposed to grow just as fast as the next person, right? So think about this, right? Every seed grows at a different time, right? It grows at a different time. It takes some seeds in order for them to germinate. It takes them 1 to 2 weeks. Some of them it takes 3 to 4 weeks, but they still germinate, turn into a plant, and then be able to produce whatever that the seed was planted to produce. So if it's cucumber, tomatoes, if it's apples or oranges, it still be able to produce, even though it might take them a little bit longer to come out the ground. And see, sometimes the seed that God planted in us, it takes a little bit longer for it to grow because he's molding and shaping it under the dirt. He getting the roots planted. See, when the roots are starting to spread out, once the plant goes up and start to grow and start to produce, it can get all its nutrients from different places, the water source, because the roots is down. The roots is deep. So when you get your roots down deep, it might take a little bit longer. Like I said, some of them 1 to 2 weeks, some of them 3 to 4 weeks. Your situation, it might take you 5 or 6 years to get where you at. It might even take you 10 years to get where you at. It might took somebody else 2 years. But they might be doing something different than what you're doing. But even if they are doing the same thing, it might be something that God needs to develop in you within those 10 years. And it's something that they probably didn't have to develop in that area, and you did. So you have to be careful on watching other people when they stuff start to produce faster than yours. When they start to grow faster than you. When they start to get promoted faster than you. When they business start to make more money faster than you. When they seem to get married faster than you. When they seem to get everything that they want in life faster than you. You gotta calm down, man. It's hard sometimes. It's hard. You have to calm down and be like, listen, hey, God, let me holler at you, you know. But that comes with patience. That comes with patience. And making sure that you're doing what you need to do with the seed that he planted in you. Making sure that you watering, making sure that you fertilizing, making sure you keeping the weeds away, making sure that you are in the right environment in order for you to grow. Right now, you probably can't see the investment that you put into what you're trying to grow. Like sometimes we can't see the investment that we put inside of our children, the love, the time, the money. We can't see that. Sometimes going to the games of support, just actually being there, be a listening ear, the guidance, the training. We can't see that right now. We can't see how they gonna turn out or how it's gonna be produced. Sometimes we want to look behind the curtain and kind of see, hey, what's going on, God? Can you give me a preview of what's what with my child? And sometimes those investments in the seed that we're trying to raise, we don't know how it's gonna reproduce. We don't know how it's gonna produce. I'm sorry. We don't know how it's gonna produce. If it's gonna be good, it's gonna be bad. But I tell you this. Raise a child up in the way that they'll go, and when they get old, they won't depart. They won't depart. Right? They won't depart. So you got to constantly instill the good things into your child. You constantly got to motivate them, constantly got to love them. You constantly got to give them direction in the right direction and what to do, and not take your feelings out and put it inside of them because you bitter and some things didn't work out for you. All right, that get me to my next point. Get me to my next point. Okay, the harvest. After you planted the seed, right? After now it's time to harvest, right? Now it's time to harvest, right? But before we harvest, it's another thing that we got to do before we get the fruit. We got to maintain the environment. We got to we got to maintain the environment, right? So we got to make sure that we are plucking out the negative situations, the thorns, the debris. We got to keep away rodents. If you go and you see somebody that got a garden, or you have seen a field where stuff is planted at, they got rows on the fields where it's planted at. And most people in the garden, they got their garden set up a certain type of way where they can go in there and work. They can pull the weeds out, right? Pull the weeds out of there, spray for bugs if they need to spray for bugs, water certain plants that need to be watered, fertilize certain plants that need to be fertilized. It's organized in order for them to be able to work to produce what they need to produce. We need to organize our life in a way that we have to start plucking out some things. There might be people. There might be some weeds that you need to pull up, some people out your life, right? Some bad habits out your life, right? We need to get those things out of there. It might be the drink. It might be the sex. It might be too many women. It might be too many men and women. Some of those things you need to get up out of your system and get away so you can be able to nurture and put yourself in the right environment in order to produce. Because I put it like this. You can't take an apple tree and put it in the desert and expect it to produce the same way, because it's not in the right environment in order to produce. You're not going to see an apple tree in the desert. And a cactus might can survive, but you can't take even an apple, take an orange tree. You can't put it off in the desert and expect it to survive. It don't have, in certain environments, they don't have the water supply. They don't have the shade from the sun in order to let it produce the way that it need to. So you put this apple tree in the right environment, it'll be able to produce. But some people don't get it wrong. You can take a cactus, it can pretty much survive in any weather you put it in. And some people are cactus out here that they can survive in any environment they put it in. But it's not a lot of people like that. So you might not be that type of person. And if you're not that type of person, take and clean up your field, clean up your garden, clean it up. It ain't too late, clean it up, so you can start producing. As long as you got some green on that vine, as long as those roots alive, start watering it. Start watering your brain. Your brain is one of the brain is one of the biggest seed that you can ever feed. You continue to feed your brain, not negative things, but positive things, positive images, positive sayings about yourself, because you got people around you that can see your potential, but they can put that negativity into you. They say it so much around you that it's tearing you down. You ever saw a child that they're a good child, they good, and they able to produce something, but they got a parent around them. Oh, you ain't gonna be like this. You ain't nothing but like your dad. You ain't gonna do this. You ain't gonna grow up to be nobody. You can hear a lot of people that what drove them to be where they at, because they was mad. Some people, you don't hear other people say, well, that just tore me down, and I was never able to do nothing else in life because of what people said to me when I was younger. You have to learn to encourage yourself. You got to learn to encourage yourself, because other people, some people not going to encourage you. They don't care. They're not going to encourage you. They don't want you to come up. They want you to be in the same position. Sometimes even in your own mind, you'll trick your own self in believing that you're supposed to be in the same position. You got to talk yourself up out of that depression. You got to talk yourself up out of that stuff. Believe me, I understand. I done been there and been depressed. I done been there. No, ain't nobody encouraging me. I done been there when it feel like the world against you. And sometimes it just be in your head. You got to motivate, love yourself, and encourage yourself up out of there. Believe in yourself. Regardless of what people say, believe in yourself that you can do it. Don't sit back and be praying to God for all these things, but then you're not bold enough to go out there and go after it. You're not bold enough to take any steps. Stop praying if you're not going to be bold enough, or pray for boldness. Pray for moving forward. Pray for confidence so you can have that to move forward. Don't be sitting around whining and weeping all the time. Oh, they got this, they got that. They go and look better than me. They feel look better. Go work on your stuff. The reason they stuff looks so better because you paying too much attention to it. Stop paying attention to their stuff and start paying attention to you. Start paying attention to stuff that you need to work on. Your car look better if you worked on your car. Your house will look better if you worked on your house. You spending too much time focusing on everybody else and not focus on the things you need to be focused on. That's why it looked the way that it looked. That's why you look the way that you look. That's why you have the things that you have, because you sit back, focus on everybody else. Focus on what's at hand and what you need to do. Get you some books to read on what you're trying to do. Get you some goals. Get you somebody to talk to, a mentor or something. Get yourself in the gym. Put that fast food down. Stop watching that porn. Stop rubbing yourself off. You're killing yourself. Can't even do 2 push-ups because you're rubbing one off all the time. And regardless of whatever seeds that you plant, good or bad, you're going to reap the harvest. You're going to reap the harvest. That's the harvest coming in. So you put out bad stuff, you're getting bad stuff back. You put out good stuff, you're going to get some good stuff. Believe me. And see, I'm going to tell you what the thing about it, like sometimes we look at good things, we look at it all material, but you won't look at yourself and your family being healthy, right? Is one guy I talked to, man, ain't nobody in his family, he hadn't been to no funeral in years. He couldn't remember the last time. Such a blessing. We don't think like that though. We don't think that I ain't have to go to the doctor in the past 5 or 6 years. Ain't nobody in my family seriously sick. I don't have anything going on with me physically or mentally. It's peaceful at my house. All those things, we don't look at that. We want to look at the harvest. Oh man, I got a new car. I got some money. All material things. If you always looking for material things for the harvest, you're missing the whole point. You're missing the whole point. And let me say this right here, man. I'm gonna read this scripture right here. It's in Galatians. It's this the this the KJV version. King James version. Yeah. Galatians 6 and 7, it says, be not deceived. God is not mocked. For whatever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. So whatever you put out there, you get it back as part of your harvest. Whatever you put out there. So be careful on what you sow. Not only what's around you, but into yourself. Be careful what you sow. Not only what's around you, but also what's within yourself. Be careful of what you sow. Not only around you, but also what you put into yourself. Be careful. And let me tell you this. Just because you have sown bad, it's not too late. It's not too late to turn around and start to sow good. It's not too late to do it. Right now, you can start to turn around and start to sow the good seed that you need to get. Right now, you can turn around and start to sow the good seeds that need to be out there so it can get it back. But you still got to get that harvest from the bad too. Don't get it wrong. Don't get me wrong. You still got to get that too. But start sowing some of the good seeds out there, and you'll reap that harvest as well. So, with me saying that, I just say this to you. Regardless of what you do, how you do it, how you plant your seeds, or where you plant your seeds, think about the environment where you plant your seeds at. Think about the time that it's going to take to grow. What it's going to take in order for me to be able to produce this to the maximum, to the max. We can sit back and you can grab all the wrong seeds and put it in the wrong environment and don't get nothing. You can get you one seed, and this is something that my dad taught me. It's about like plant seeds, period. He said, son, you can plant one seed, but from that one seed, you get multiple. You can plant one apple seed and get a whole tree that produce all 100, 200 apples. But just think about this. You can plant one bad thing and all bad things come from that one seed you planted. Or you can plant one good thing, then all good things come from the one seed you planted. Be careful how you plant your seed and where. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all tuning in with me. Also, if you want to follow me on Real Men Talk Podcast on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Real Men Talk Podcast, go follow me. Go like the page on Facebook, and here on Instagram, hit me a like. I appreciate y'all. Drop a comment. If there's anything that y'all want to hear about, want to hear me talk about, just shoot me a DM on Instagram or leave me a comment down below. I appreciate y'all. Till next week. Peace.